Roll for Crit here with a unique Kickstarter situation that a lot of people have been talking about. Publisher CMON has launched a brand new Kickstarter campaign that they are calling the Time Machine. And it is not for any particular game, although in the past they have launched many games through Kickstarter, and most, if not all of them, have been extremely successful. This one is specifically to allow backers to gain access to some of the Kickstarter exclusive items from 3 of their games specifically in the past that are difficult to get people's hands on nowadays. Those being Hate, Rising Sun, and Zombicide Green Horde.
Now the Time Machine aspect was they also had some extra Kickstarter exclusive leftovers for some of their other many Kickstarters they've run. One of the big ones I know for me that I've noticed was Blood Rage, because that was another big game, but there's plenty out there. You'll have to check the whole list to see what was there. And the way it worked is access to those pledges to get the chance to pick those up in the Pledge Manager. If you backed any of the already base games, so getting either Rising Sun, the Green Horde, you get day 1 access. Now, initially, if you pledge at the $1 level, you would get access to that 48 hours afterwards, which for a lot of people, they're like, if your scalpers will probably just pick those all up and sell them for 5 times the price before any of them make it to the 48-hour mark. So they've changed the rules a bit. So first off, if it's something sought after, I don't know exactly which one of these would be higher or lower, you can only get 1 copy of it instead of 5. I don't know why you'd want 5 unless you're planning to resell.
Yeah, that really is why.
They also made it, if you've backed one of their Kickstarters before, so let's say, like me, I did get the Rising Sun on the original Kickstarter. If I do the $1 pledge, I will have day 1 access. So if I maybe missed out on one of their other Kickstarters, I might be able to pick it up now. So that a lot of people have been really happy about that, because they were really angry before.
Yeah, there was a lot of ire driven towards this campaign from a lot of different parts of the internet, different of the board game community. That being said, none of that anger stopped this from being hugely successful. Over $300,000. It's probably been higher now by the time this video will be released. So a lot of people clearly want this stuff.
Well, like I said, Rising Sun went out really fast. I didn't know this because I didn't have to look for it. I backed it on the day 1, and I've been happy with it. Apparently, the secondhand market price for it is huge. Like, it's really got gouged. So for a lot of people, they're like, it's not even for that timed event. They're just like, this is my chance to pick up this game.
So the first thing that I noticed that a lot of people were up in arms about over this was the fact that all of the games are limited in quantity. Games and foreseeably the promotional items eventually once you get access to them.
Because the games are on the pledge levels, we know the numbers of those. And I think most of them were like 700 or then 250. And if you're in Asia, it's a different number. But the promos, we don't know the numbers on. Even with the new update, they just said the highly sought after ones, you can only get 1 copy. Well, the other ones are 5. So I assume that's more of what they have in stock.
Right.
I have no idea which one those are off the top of my head. I'm sure some people are like, oh, well, obviously Blood Rage or something would be a more sought after one, but I don't know.
Yeah, and so the update that they came out with, I think, did make a lot of people feel better about it. But like you said, there's still some strange unknowns involved with that. And the other thing is the fact that all of the stuff that we've talked about so far in the Time Machine are existing items, things that they theoretically already have in their warehouse ready to ship.
Many people argue it's them trying to clear out warehouses, and there's a bunch of other theories and rumors, but we don't know that much. I can't really substantiate them.
We could speculate, but it would be speculation.
We think this is from the Area 51 rumors.
Yeah, probably. And what they're supposedly the other thing they're doing in this Kickstarter is having new original soundtracks composed for these games specifically, as well as is it art books, artwork?
Digital art books.
Digital art books that go along with it.
So technically this falls under it's not pre-order. This is new stuff for Kickstarter.
But it's clearly, I mean, they're like just barely trying to hide the fact that it's really for these other things. And it's really, they're using this as just an outlet, a store, more or less, to sell off these things that they have.
I wouldn't say it's a store or outlet, because I assume they have their own storefront.
They do, yeah.
I think it's more of taking advantage of FOMO, which then we can discuss this more, of one, a lot of the items on here are either Kickstarter exclusives, like they were only designed for Kickstarter, or sort of Kickstarter exclusive, like Rising Sun got very expensive outside. I don't think it's technically Kickstarter. The game itself is not technically Kickstarter exclusive, but
right. The fact that they didn't want to sell it through their store because if other people got them through the Kickstarter and paid a lot for them, they would feel like they were ripped off because
Which I do want to get to that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I think it came out Wednesday and it closed Saturday or Sunday. It's like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, really fast.
So you not only see that exclusive word, but the time, and then everyone. It's not them having a set like emptying the warehouse possibly or selling stuff off. It's oh man, I only have these 5 seconds to make this choice.
Right, yeah. So definitely I think a lot of those numbers of backers came from that, like, oh, I don't know, I gotta jump on it. I gotta jump on it because what if I miss it? What if I want it? And if I can just put $1, I mean, and a lot of people.
Well, now that they changed that made a lot of people.
Now that they changed that.
I pledged $1 because I backed.
I can't blame you.
It was $1. I backed at least 2 of their big ones, so I'm like, I must qualify because it's not like I backed $1 some of the other stuff. I went all in on multiple.
So I mean, where do you land on this? Do you feel like ethically and as a company this is okay? It seems like they're straddling a line for sure. But it is interesting to me how many negative comments I've seen about it versus how extremely successful it was.
My problem with this, there is the problem I said, I don't like the psychological trickery. The other big issue I have, which is what I want to get back to, what you said, if people getting angry when they paid a lot for Kickstarter exclusives and they sold them on their own store. Mm-hmm. I like what one person said is, those people should just be happy. They got these games at a great deal. And maybe we got them for a year or stuff. Is it so bad that some of these exclusives, because a lot of the reasons some people don't pick up these games, I'm one of them, and we discussed this, I think we had a discussion.
I'm sure we have talked about it before.
That if there's these games which, there's a lot of them for CMON. I mean, if you look at their Time Machine list, there's like 20 different games of exclusives on there. Outside of, I can maybe ignoring like a better playmat or something, like something that's not technically a mechanic. Mm-hmm. But if I know there's like a whole, like Rising Sun has 2 tribes you can't use that are Kickstarter exclusives, it's like, I missed out on it. I guess I won't play. Or maybe if it's in a game library. That's the problem, I think, with this, especially these big miniature games, because then CMON's like, we don't want to reprint this again because no one's going to buy it because they won't have the exclusives. And that's why I think that's a big issue here, is that all these are Kickstarter exclusive, and it's people being angry that it's the Kickstarter exclusive rising, its head just rising up and showing the negative side effects.
Yeah, I agree. I think almost all of it stems back to the Kickstarter exclusive problem. It's just a toxic thing.
Imagine if these things were timed exclusives, then they released them and you could buy them maybe even if at a high price, let's say 50% more. And then they did this thing and they still a warehouse empty or whatever they're planning. But it wasn't, that was it. It wasn't like, this is your only chance to get them. I don't think people would be nearly as negative. They'd be like, man, I got all the Rising stuff now, Sun stuff now. I mean, sure, I could maybe later on pick up the stuff, but I don't think it'd be nearly as negative if it didn't have the exclusive tags on almost all the products.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard because it's gross and it makes people maybe not want to play it, makes other people want to play it more, and then you feel left out. At the same time, from the company's perspective, it's been proven to just generate so many more backers, so it's like I can't really hold it against them too much.
And it's not like, we should mention, CMON isn't like the only Kickstarter exclusive person around here.
But they certainly are one of the biggest and one of the biggest companies that does it. And then, it's also the issue of like how, just in terms of Kickstarter's own rules for what is the spirit of Kickstarter? What is it supposed to be? A, helping out more, the underground indie people, and B, like we said, actually funding a new product as opposed to just letting you get access to older stuff, and also, there's the CD or whatever.
Well, that's the problem. It's like,
what is Kickstarter for? No, it's none of this is really new.
But I mean, like, we've seen, and I've even suggested to, like, I think the Edge of Darkness, for example. Mm-hmm. In our Kickstarter recently, I've named it, and I even said how you can, if you missed out the last one, you can pick it up there. I think that's perfectly fine. And even if Kickstarter exclusives too, because I'm like, look, it's still exclusive to Kickstarter, it's just from the second pledge.
Sure.
But this is like only digital product. It's like almost giving like, you're backing for a slip of paper, but there's all this other, like I think is
clearly
why
a cheat.
So it feels like that.
And part of me thinks like, well, you know what? At the end of the day, if people want to spend money on it, then let them spend money on
No.
it. But part of me
That's why I
thinks,
don't- to
but
me-
is that what Kickstarter is for?
But the problem is for people, they want to pay for it, but they can't.
Yeah, and like you said, also like psychologically, is it maybe if they want to pay for it, but are you manipulating them into paying for it? Is it really fair to them? There's a lot of stuff here. I guess I kind of really fall somewhere in the middle where I feel like, is it a little dirty, a little cheap? Yeah, but is it, it's not illegal? Like, I think they're, and they did, props to them for listening to people and changing the way
absolutely.
it works. So you got to give them credit. Yeah, so I think we land on that there are problematic aspects of this campaign to be sure, but it's up to you to decide if it was or wasn't worth backing, because like we said, it's probably over by the time you're watching this. But if you were a backer, talk to us, or if you're someone who is anti this campaign, also talk to us, because I'm sure people have thoughts, because Kickstarter, things like this are always a big issue for people.
Yeah, well, I mean,
very contentious.
I don't think this is like, oh, this is a CMON thing. This is a whole board game issue. I think it's, as we were saying, just rearing its ugly head, and CMON is the one who just happens to be in the spotlight about it. I don't think other companies should get a free pass for a lot of the sins we're saying here, because they're pretty much...
They're one of the most brazen and upfront about it, though. They certainly aren't shy about being the poster child.
No, that's true. I just think we shouldn't pretend as if other companies get a clean slate on this.
I agree, yeah. They don't get a pass.
Let us know in the comments down below whether you're backing this, whether you're not, what issues you have with this, and with other companies too, whether it's exclusives. Do you think it's too predatory? Do you think they're fine with how they're doing it? Let us know. We're definitely going to choose some of these comments for our Meeple gallery, because I feel like this is going to have some good discussions.
Oh yeah, keep it civil, folks.
But until then, I'm Will.
I'm Jonathan.
This has been Roll for Crit.
Never miss out by liking and subscribing, and you can also check out more on our Patreon.
We do weekly podcasts on Patreon. Don't you want to sign up and hear more of our voices?